I didn't know if I could talk or not. Yeah, you can talk, Saul. Cool. What's up, guys? How we doing today? I'm Saul. This is Eddie. Eddie's out in the middle of the Palm Desert with his camera super zoomed in. Give him a second to adjust. There he is. What's going on, EJ? How we doing today?
I'm not doing that good. My internet's not working well.
It looked fine to me. It's nice and smooth.
No, I like everything to be perfect. Just, you know what I'm saying?
All right. This is Outside Shots brought to you by the good folks at OG's. Eddie is out in Palm Desert because he's going to be covering the Suns Lakers tonight. And that's where we're going to start today. EJ, this is the last tune-up before it all begins next Tuesday against the Warriors. Lakers in town against the Suns out in the middle of the Palm Springs area. What are you looking for tonight?
Well, I'm just looking for just some continuity. Obviously, this is the last preseason game, so you expect the starters to play a lot in this game. You expect the rotations to be like they're going to be next week in the first game. And so this is the important practice game because you don't get a chance to play again until it's real. And so you just want to make sure that, you got good rhythm, but also from a coaching standpoint, send the message that who's in the rotation to start the season. And that sends a sincere message of goodness to the players that are, and it sends a message to the players that maybe got to get in the gym and do a little bit extra, make sure that they work on their game so they can have an opportunity to move into that rotation. So it's a fun time for all, and it's a competitive time as well.
I'm looking forward to I agree with that. I'm looking forward to the starters playing into the second half. I think it's important to get your legs and your body right for that little bit of a break at halftime and then coming back and understanding how to adjust. I also think it's very important that we don't lose Eddie during the course of this show, which is cool. It's fine. EJ's gone, but that's fine. We're still here doing this great show. So random. We told Eddie, I think half of my screen is on. I'm not sure what's going on. We told Eddie to jump on his cell phone, but he tried to make it work. And it didn't work. It didn't happen, unfortunately. But I think he's back now. EJ, are you back? Are you good to go now?
Yeah, I am back.
There he is.
Yeah,
there he is. We can hear him. We just can't see him. We'll get him on here in a second.
I had to change up and be creative. So here we go.
All right. So anyway, that, like I was saying, I'm looking forward to see where the second half goes for these guys. I know the Lakers have talked about they're going to play their starters for a majority of the first three quarters, if not the entire game. I think the Suns are going to follow suit and get a good, nice workout in. And hey, listen, it's going to be fun. It's always fun when we play the Lakers. It's always fun when you beat LA, and I expect that to happen tonight. Somebody in the comments said, "I'm thinking we're going to drop 60 against the Lakers in the first half." I mean, listen, I think the Suns are going to be the highest scoring offense in the league. I don't think there's anybody that's going to be close. So it should be a fun game today. So far in the preseason, what have been some of your observations in terms of this team? Like, what are the things that have really stood out to you the most? And is there anything that you have maybe any concern about?
That they're very potent offensively. You just said it. They can score. You score 75 points in a half. I don't care who it's against. It's an NBA team. That's a lot of points. And that was very impressive in the last game. So scoring is not going to be an option for this team. They have a plethora of guys that can put the ball in the basket. The key, obviously, is just getting those stops and rebounding the ball. Those are the two areas. Like if they compete and get their stops and they can stay, top 10 defense, and that should be a goal. Top 10. That's not asking for a ton. It's really not. And be one of the top, 10 teams rebounding, then they're going to have arguably maybe the best record in the league because the points are going to be there. But if they can take care of those two areas, and those areas are like a competition. I've been on teams where coaches would challenge you and they would reward you, maybe with a day off. Maybe back in our day, they can, the salary cap wasn't as stringent. They can maybe, put something in your contract as a bonus and all those things. We used to have little games that we would play going into each game to see if we can reach those goals that we need to get to. Because if we did, then we'd have a chance to win every night. And those two that stand out, man, is what I just said. Defense being maybe top level, top 10, top 12, and then rebounding. If you're defensive rebounding and you're defending and you're not turning the ball over, then if you're the Suns, you're going to have a great record because that's the only way I think they'll get beat for the most part this year. Teams force them to turn it over, get on the offensive glass, get second and third chances, and then the defense is porous, allowing teams to score a lot of paint points. That, to me, are the three areas that the Suns really need to concentrate on, especially early in the year.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's great about having a leader like Devin Booker is that I just feel like at this point in his career, he's not going to let that kind of stuff slide. I think, defensively, I think he understands like that. Listen, they can win a championship and they can win it. I mean, with authority if they step up on the defensive side and play at a high level. I think that's really the biggest question mark for the season for me is how intense defensively are they going to be, or is it just going to be run and gun? Let's score more points than them. And I just have a hard time believing after all the work that Devin Booker has put in on the defensive side of the ball that they would just relinquish that kind of intensity, especially with a defensive-minded head coach and Frank Vogel in the fold. So that to me, if there was an Achilles heel that you can maybe point to, it would maybe be that. But I don't really think that that's going to be something significant, regardless of what other people around the country say about their own players and how amazingly awesome they are because they hail from the University of Kansas. And somehow, some way, they might get lucky and stop Devin Booker for a possession or two. And EJ, that was just a little shade thrown at somebody else out there. That's just a random tangent that I wanted to go on because there's some nonsense being talked about from the Denver area that I'm just not a big fan of. So moving on, listen, EJ, this is going to be a short and sweet episode because I know you want to probably go out to the golf course because I know that's what you do out there in the Palm Springs area. Have you golfed before out there in the Palm Springs area?
I've golfed out here plenty of times. Matter of fact, I'm actually I'm staying on a golf course right now.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, do I know EJ or do I know EJ? Like, okay, so do you have a tee time today or no?
I'm not playing golf today.
Oh, okay. You just don't have enough time between this
business. Some people work for a living.
I'm here with you right now as we speak, working alongside you. You don't have anything to say? Okay, cool.
Who's working alongside me? Yeah, we went out a little bit. I'm back. Look, I don't know what's going on in this hotel. They will hear from Eddie once this is over.
You need to plug into that Ethernet. That's the only way you can have a consistent. That's the only way you can have a consistent plug-in. So, well, let's get to your predictions for the season. Do you have any big Suns predictions for the season? Give me like one or two predictions for the upcoming year.
Well, I would be disappointed if we didn't finish, obviously, top two in the conference. I think we're hungry. Denver's not as hungry. They just won a title. So they played all the way deep into the summer, halfway into the summer. I expect, them to rest a little bit more, be more cautious. They got house money. The Lakers obviously can't play LeBron a ton. They got to be careful with him. Obviously, they're going to be careful with Anthony Davis. Uh, the Golden State Warriors, same deal. They've been playing deep into the playoffs forever. They got older players on their team. Draymond's already dealing with an ankle. So I don't suspect they would be going for it quickly. And so the Suns have a lot to prove, though, right? So I think they're going to be very hungry, very aggressive. New coach, new owner, all those things going for them. Uh, Nothing but less than the second best record in the conference. I don't think I'd be happy with anything else. So that means probably 53, 54 wins, I believe, because the West is so tough. Uh, and really develop these role guys. Make sure that they understand their role. Make sure they understand their purpose. Make sure that they know it's a competition every day they step on the court. That they're on borrowed time. They're only as good as their last game, and because of that, their minutes are going to be different the next game. And if they go into it with that mentality and that support of one another, being happy for the next guy up that's getting it done, then they'll be fine. I think the biggest challenge for Frank Vogel is not the top three, uh, but it's really managing the other guys because they're all going to be fighting for those minutes at those other two positions. Because he might go small late in the game, and Nurkic might not be in the game, right? He might
Yeah.
go big, and so you just don't know. And he has that at his disposal. But I think it's important that these guys understand the big picture is to try to win a championship and nothing else. Those three guys are going to get all the accolades, regardless. They're going to get them. And a lot of times, the role players are going to get the blame when things don't go well. That's just fact. That's just a fact of life in the NBA. It's a fact of life when you play with all-time great players that they're going to be protected. And you, as a role player, have to understand that and just know that your mistakes are going to be really better than their mistake. And it's going to be glorified a little bit more. And you got to be willing to accept it, willing to understand it, and understand that they carry a heavy load because they're going to be criticized to the highest degree. But along the way, along the road to success, you're going to be the one that's going to be nitpicked on. And so they have to be ready and understand that's going to happen.
My prediction for this year, I have three of them. Number one, I think Devin Booker will be in the top three of MVP voting. And I do believe Kevin Durant will also be in the top three of MVP voting because I think that those two will be looked at.
How's that going to work?
Hey, listen, the same way. Listen, Chris Paul and Devin Booker for a large percentage of the season a couple years ago when they were the number one team were in that top 10, top 5 range with each other. I think because Kevin Durant and Devin Booker can each score 25 to 30 points a game, KD's probably going to score 30 plus a game. I think Devin Booker will score 25 plus a game, but he's going to have more assists and have more control over the offense. So I think those two will kind of merge. And listen, I think they might end up splitting votes. So that's why I hesitate to say that one of them will win the MVP. But I think both of them will be finish in the top. Okay, I'll say top 5. How about I give myself a little room for error? Top 5 in MVP voting. I think they're both going to be that good this year. And I think the Suns will have the best record in the NBA. And I think they're going to win at least 58 games. I think they're going to win at least 58 games. Now, that's obviously barring injury. But I think if everything goes well, even if they lose one of the top 3 for a period of time, I still think that they are plenty good enough to have a 55 to 58 win season. So I easily think that could happen. And then third, and this is where things get a little funky. I think Eric Gordon will end up being 6th man of the year. I think Eric Gordon is going to be that valuable to this team because of the previous thing that I just kind of mentioned about the possibility of one of the big 3 possibly getting hurt. And listen, with their histories, you got to expect at some point somebody will get dinged up and have to miss a couple games. And I think Eric Gordon will be able to step up in those moments. off the bench, because I do think that Grayson Allen will ultimately get the nod to replace one of those three, so that way they can keep some firepower off the bench with some veteran experience in Eric Gordon. And I think Aaron Gordon has an opportunity to be the sixth man of the year. Those are my three predictions for the season. I think they're pretty solid, if I don't say so myself, Eddie.
Well,
You already got a smirk
you
on
don't
your
say
face.
so yourself. I mean, you're a little bit. I mean, you really been over the top with yourself, aren't you? I mean, if you don't say so yourself, really. I mean, you've been hanging around me too much, young fella. That's what I tell you. Okay, young fella to me, but old fella when you was at the University of Arizona.
Oh,
Uh,
Jesus.
I think you're out of your mind thinking that Devin and KD would be top three MVP. And here's why. They traded that when they bonded together. And then Bradley Beal comes over. You just left Bradley Beal out of the equation for some reason. I just think voters, now don't get me wrong. I think that they should have a chance. But I think voters all year long, they're going to really pinpoint the fact that the Suns have three guys that are unbelievable players on their team. And I just think that they will shy away from that vote because of it. And so I would be shocked if both of them wound up that high in MVP voting. And I think they don't even care. Like, I think maybe Devin cares because he doesn't have one and KD does. But when you have Kevin Durant as your teammate, man, that's tough. That's tough for Devin. But Devin doesn't care, right? Because he
Yeah.
wants to win a title. You know, sometimes you give up something to get something. And I think that's what those guys give up to be in a race at a high level for MVP. Now, for the sixth man, I think, again, here it goes again. I think Eric Gordon, I think overall, I think when you look at it, I think the two players that you mentioned, they have an opportunity. I think Grayson Allen has an opportunity. Eric Gordon has an opportunity, but I think again they could cancel each other out, and that's just the tough part, right? So for me, I think the Emmanuel Quickleys of the world, the Brogdons of the world, it's those guys that actually come off and are so focused offensively to be able to go get shots. It's tough when you have two guys. I played. Look, I won my six man when nobody could really match what I could do. Ricky Pierce won his two six man of the years when nobody was around to match what he can do on that team. But then ultimately, Ricky and I played on the same team in Seattle and in Indiana, and that cancels us out. Like it just cancels us out. And then I think that's just the difficult part about it. So, I'm for the fact that the Suns just having the best bench, lead the league in 3-point shooting, right? Those areas I think are doable. I just think the individual awards pass all league. Like I think KD and Devin or i.e. Bradley Beal, if it's how powerful the Suns are, they all have an opportunity to do that, right? But the individual awards is going to be tough, man, just
Yeah.
because of the perception of what the Suns have on their team.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I just think listen, I just think that the Deans are going to fall the right way, and they're going to fall the Suns' way this year.
Well,
We got
you
a couple.
said 58 games. You said 58 games, which I hope you're right. But man, the Western, that means that we have to win 58 games, Saul, we have to have, I think, 80 to 90% winning percentage against the East. And it's doable.
I
So
mean,
don't
have
get
you
me
seen the
wrong, right?
East?
I know, but that's 30 games. Okay. So that's 30 games against the East, right? So if the Suns are going to win 58 games, they're going to have to win at least, in my opinion, 24, 25 games against the East.
I can see that happening.
Because in the West, man, well, I'm saying they're going to have to do it. And then in the West, now what do they have to go do? You
Yeah, I
get my
mean,
point? Like,
yeah.
that's only 24 games. That's only 24 games. Now in the West, they got to really play at a high level, right? So that's going to be tough.
I mean,
That's why I say 58. Oof, that's going
if
to be
if
tough, man.
if they go 90% against the East and they lose 4 or 5 games out of the 30 that they play against the East, you're asking them to not lose more than 19 games. If they lose 5 against the East, 19 games against the West out of 50. I have a hard time believing that the Suns are going to lose 2 out of every 5 contests against Western Conference opponents. Like, because I think there's only like five teams in the West that I feel like are bona fide, like, okay, this is going to be tough. You got to be ready every single night kind of games, right? You got the Warriors, the Lakers, you got the Clippers, you got the Nuggets, and then you might even throw in the Grizzlies or even maybe the Kings. That's about it. Oh, I'm sorry, not the Kings, OKC, because that's my team. And then outside of that, I feel like they got him. They got him. They got the West. Like I'm not too concerned about it, but obviously you are. And if you have a lot of anxiety about it, you can take some OGs. People, OGs is the best edible in the game. Go to ogsbrands.com to find the closest dispensary to you. OGs has got a variety of different edibles, from indicas to your sativas, your RSOs, and your Happy Balance gummies. All of them meant to make you feel good and have a good time, basically. So check them out at ogsbrands.com. Remember, you must be 21 years of age or older to enjoy. Yes, Eddie, what were we going to say?
You get very excited every time you do that infomercial, don't you?
Oh, it's because I can knock that thing out the park, man. It's a nice, easy read. Chill,
Oh, it's awesome.
just like OGs. Listen, I get excited about good Wi-Fi is what I get excited about, EJ, which you do not have at the current moment. So
I'm not in tech.
All right, so to wrap this up real quick, Eddie, let's go broader scope. NBA, NBA predictions. Let's talk about, you got the East. Give me like a good prediction for the East. What are you expecting out of the East? And don't give me like give me something hot. Give me something I can cook with here. Eddie, don't be all like vanilla like you were on the last one. Like, oh, I think if they win 54 games and, but no, come on, man. Give me something good. Give me something I can sink my teeth into.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to give you knowledge. If you couldn't sink your teeth into what I tried to explain to you in the last segment, that's your. I don't understand why you can't sink. I mean, you're trying to be Santa Claus, but I'm just trying to let you know it's not that easy to win 58 games. Historically, I don't know how many teams have won 58, but not many. So you're looking for the Suns to go on a historical run in the Western Conference that is 10 to 11 teams deep. That's going to be very difficult. Like, I'm being honest. Like, I would love it to happen, but I don't even know if I want it to happen because if they ran for 58 games like they did a number of years ago, I'm wondering if they're going to have enough energy to be able to close the deal. So my whole thing is just get the second seed, first and second seed, and we're good. That's just how I look at it, no
EJ,
matter how many games it takes.
I just want you to know that there's people in the chat that are saying maybe you are on some OGs right now because you're looking a little toasty. Some of the comments in the chat saying like maybe you need to wake up a little bit. Maybe just did you go for a run? Did you get a nice little workout this morning or what?
Well, I'm holding my phone because my computer didn't pick up the signal right, and so that's it. Other than me doing anything else, no. I don't do OGs. I don't do anything. I don't do any enhancements, people. Okay, I'm high on life.
EJ
Okay,
is pure to the soul.
So if I'm really being cool right now, they're not used to me being low key and cool. See, so they're used to me being wired. I'm sitting next to you, so that's an issue right now. And don't judge me by how I'm looking, people. I'm not married to you. I mean, you don't have to worry about it. I mean, like I can give a rat's you know what about how you might think I look right now. Just listen to my words. I don't care. Why are you judging? I mean, what is up with you guys? I'm not going on a date with any of y'all. Okay? Why are you worried about it? All right? Understand though, when EJ wants to get dressed up, when EJ wants to look right, ain't too many people looking like me other than Denzel. That's about it.
This is the
So
one and only EJ. Listen, that's
yeah,
my job is to set him up, and then he just throws it down. That's what it is, baby. Like, listen,
nah,
and I will vouch for you, EJ. I saw you on Saturday night. Had a nice little blue suit on. He was like, yeah, he was styling. He was styling. He was looking good. So hey, listen, when
there you go.
EJ wants to put it together, he
Throw
can put it together.
it down when I want to. There you go. My man Saul. I saw you too. You was hanging in
Appreciate
there.
it.
You was hanging behind, but you were there. You was okay. Look in the East. I'm gonna tell you the fact. To me, uh, Milwaukee and Boston are the class of the East. I don't think anybody's gonna mess with them. Uh, Miami is not going to pull off what they did last year. That was just an unbelievable accomplishment when you're an eighth seed and you go to the finals. That's not happening. And I wouldn't be shocked if they were an eighth seed this year. Okay? I just wouldn't. I'm not too high on them. They didn't do anything this year. They sat around and waited for Dame Lillard all damn off season. Didn't get him. So for me, Philly may be the third team, but you see what James Harden is doing right now.
Yeah.
He's I don't have an issue with James Harden and him being bad at Daryl Morey because I had a GM lie to me too. Okay, and it was not a good feeling. I get it. Okay, I get that part. Okay, I had a few GMs, by the way, that ticked me off when it came to contract time. Okay, in my career, I get it. Their hands are tied too on the other end. Like it's not their money; it's the owner's money. So a lot of the stuff that Daryl Morey had to do, he probably got that message from his ownership, like, no, we're not doing that. So what's Daryl Morey going to do? He's going to adhere to what his bosses tell him to do. And then you, James Harden, have to adhere to what your bosses tell you to do. They're paying you $37 million. You're supposed to show up to work. He's mad at Daryl Morey. Okay, fine. But you know what? You're mad at Daryl Morey, but it's costing 15 guys, 14 other guys that's going to rely on you, your teammates, while you're making 37 million. I just have an issue with that with him. Man, look, they lied to you, but you're making 37 million, dude. Go to work, man. Just go to work. Yeah, behind the scenes, still tell them you want out, but go to work. Don't play games. Don't show up to camp and then leave. Like all that does is hurt the continuity of your basketball team. And Joel Embiid's not gonna keep putting up with that, man. And Philadelphia better get it right because he's gonna be next to say he won't out because he's not gonna put up with that stuff. So they're probably still the third team. I still think they can win without James Harden and be the third best team in the East. But I think that's what it's going to come down to. I don't think it's going to be a surprise or anything like that. I'm just not buying it. The Atlanta Hawks have a lot of talent. They can jump up and surprise the Knicks, but I'm not banking on any of those teams beating Boston or Milwaukee. So I think it's cut and dry. But in the West, it's not cut and dry. That's what makes it so difficult for any team that's going to come out of the West is that there's going to be some fatigue involved because of the playoffs. It's going to be murderer's row in the Western Conference playoffs, man. And so health is going to play a huge part. But I'm taking the Suns as the favorite. I think they are offensively. I just don't think anybody in the West will be able to touch them if they can stay healthy, and that's going to be the key.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, I agree with everything you just said. I mean, spot on. Listen, Milwaukee and Boston, clearly the class of the East. I do think that Boston has a slight edge over Milwaukee, in my opinion, because of their versatility on offense and on defense. Like, listen, they got Drew Holiday. I think that was a big time ad. I think I would have veered the other way had they not gotten Drew, but since they got Drew, I cannot wait for that first Milwaukee-Boston matchup. I am excited for that. I think a lot of people are. That's going to be must-see TV to see those two go at each other. And then in the West, honestly, like, the funny thing is like we always pay respect to the Nuggets because they won the championship. They earned the respect that they deserve, right? I do feel like there's a slight sense of overinflation when it comes to the Nuggets. basically because of that repeat factor. A lot of teams struggle in that second year to keep that motivation the same to try and get a title. And I don't know if they're going to necessarily have that motivation all year long. They certainly are not going to be. I certainly don't think that they're going to be able to play at the high level that they did during the playoff run all season long. That's just not going to happen. But I do expect them to be in that top 3 range in the West as they should be. The biggest question for me is what are you going to get from Jamal Murray? What are you going to get from Jokic during the season? He's going to be the MVP consideration. I have no doubts that he will perform at a high level, but is his motivation going to be near the same? Same thing with Jamal Murray. Same thing with MPJ and Aaron Gordon, and the list goes on and on. They got some other guys on that team that are good, but I don't know if I trust the fact that they're clearing away the best team in the NBA. I can't really say that right now because I need to see it. I need to see what their mentality is like going into the season. Maybe I'll know within the first couple of games that okay, they're here to play. We'll see. Some teams have been like that. Those Jordan Bulls. After they won that first one, they were just hungrier. And then they came back, and obviously that year they beat the Suns, the Blazers, and then they beat the Suns for a three-peat. So we'll see how it goes. My prediction, my bold prediction in the East is that Philadelphia will not finish better than 5. I'm not a big believer in Philadelphia unless Tyrese Maxey takes that next step into superstardom, which he's pretty close to. I just not a big believer in the rest of that roster. I think they have some flaws there, especially if James Harden is just in and out or out at all. That's kind of my bold prediction there. In the West, I'm going to say the OKC Thunder. I've been on this train all season long, all off season. I will continue to be on that train. The OKC Thunder will be a top 6 seed in the West without a doubt. I'm a big believer in the OKC Thunder, and I think they are definitely going to be my NBA League Pass side piece because I will be keeping an eye on that young team because they're fun to watch. They got a lot of great pieces. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren's been balling out in the preseason. Josh Giddey's been balling out not only overseas but here. Like they got a lot of great pieces. So I'm excited for this season for sure.
You try to act too young sometimes, man. Like you be throwing this hip hop terminology on people. You too old for that, man.
What are you talking about?
I mean, they gonna be your side piece.
Do you know? Let me school you, EJ, real quick. Do you know who the first one was? You know who the first one was to say that on our shows at PHNX? It was just you don't know. Your boy Jax down there in Miami. When he came on to our show, he was like, oh yeah, you're going to want the Miami Heat to be your NBA side piece. He's like 70.
He's not. Oh, I can't wait to tell him you said that man said. That man is not 70.
How old is he?
He's in his 40s. He's in the late 40s, maybe.
What?
Yeah.
No. Bro, I was in high school watching him on the NBA 2 nights. What are you talking about? There's no way he's in his 40s.
He was in his 20s.
Oh, my gosh. He's not 40.
Regardless what his age is. I say that to him, too. He too old to be getting all these little hip-hop terms.
I think
y'all too old. Y'all too old for that, man. Like, I told you. I think you felt like because you went to Arizona and you was in the classroom at 36 years old hanging out with young people. Like, you old. You can't be using side piece and this hip-hop terminology, man.
EJ, you are 64 years old. You do not need to get outside of the times. You can also embrace this era of lingo and hip-hop and culture. Like, that's what basketball is all about. Jay, don't you even start in that chat, bud. You know what a side piece is. Stop.
I have over probably in storage because I copied all my music. I would probably say 1,000 rap CDs, all the old school CDs. I have them in storage.
Okay.
I'm it's not like I'm adverse to rap. Okay, I'm into my old school rap. I get it, but it just gets a point in time. You get a certain age, you just can't be say, you can't just be saying certain things. It just doesn't
I
come
haven't
out.
hit that age yet. I
It's
haven't
sort of
hit that
like
age yet.
going to like if I saw you down there in downtown Scottsdale walking around,
It would never
going in and out
happen.
all the clubs, I, if I saw you, I would call the police on you. I would say it's an old
First
man
of
down
all,
there going in and out
first of all,
of
EJ.
Scottsdale.
First of all, if I'm in downtown Scottsdale and you see me, what are you doing there?
Driving by.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Driving by, maybe went to a restaurant, driving by. Okay, you'll never see me walking around there. The only place that I would ever go to down there is the W, and it's probably because they got some function going on. But you need to get out of that. You're a little too old for that. Wearing your
Listen,
hat backwards and stuff.
EJ,
You trying to
EJ,
act hip
EJ.
hop.
Don't
You
listen.
like Kirk Gowdy, man. Kirk Gowdy is a podcast.
Oh no! Stop!
Greg
Stop!
Gumbel.
Listen, EJ, I can't help it that you feel like time has passed you by. It has not passed me by. I am surrounded by millennials and Gen Z and like all that stuff every single day. A bunch of 25 to 22 to 25, 28-year-olds every single day. I got kids that are still they're still up in the game. Hell, my son is the one that teaches me about a lot of this stuff. And I have no problem with it. I can embrace that because I'm not ashamed of it.
You the Bill Denny of Arizona sports.
Stop. That might be the most disrespectful thing you've ever said to me.
Hey, Bill, I had to throw Bill in. Bill looking down right now, laughing at that.
Yeah. Bill actually gave me my first shot in sports. He I got to shadow him for a couple days at Channel 12. So that was pretty cool back in the day. Anyway, listen, age ain't nothing but a number. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, people. And regardless of what EJ says, okay? And I'm going to watch the OKC Thunder because they're my NBA League side piece, and I have no shame about that whatsoever. And neither should you by watching this show today.
I would tell Shea Gilgeous-Alexander he's your side piece.
That's Eddie Johnson. I'm Saul Bookman. We appreciate you all for joining us.
Chet Holmgren, like, he rolling over right now talking about what are you talking about?
Stop, EJ.
Mark,
go back.
Mark,
listen.
no.
It is fitting that you are in Palm Springs because that's usually where old people go to rest. So, all right, folks, that's it for me. We appreciate you all joining us. Until next time, peace.